Okay, I'm going to take you through a BTwist. I'm not going to show you because I'm injured, but I'm going to go through the basic motions of the wind up and the actual takeoff of the BTwist to make sure you're getting optimum height and optimum spin. This is a different take on some of the more standard, say wushu style BTwists, but I feel that I've taught a lot of people this move and I've learned a lot about it over the last few months, especially being injured. So I'm hoping that this will give you enough to be able to learn the move if you're struggling, or get more height if you can already do it but badly. Instead of treating it like a spin and then taking off into it, you want to treat it very forwards and backwards. So you're looking forwards in a stance. So you go, see it like this. You're stepping forwards, hands in front of you. You're then throwing this leg over this way and pivoting your stance. And then from here you do this dip that's so famous with a BTwist, where you come down and up again. So to begin with this setup, you want to start by learning how to pivot. And this is essentially just doing a 180. Can you see my feet? Okay. So you're doing a 180 from this position, and all you're doing is doing a 180 turn to here. So you're essentially doing this, okay? Staying in the same position. That way when you want to do the BTwist itself, all you have to do is, from this stance, you've got all this power from the run up, is to do this famous dip. Breaking it down a little bit further, you're in this step. What is a dip? Is a dip this? Is a dip this? It is very confusing, and a lot of people that I've taught about the move seem to struggle with knowing exactly what a dip is. Now what you want to think of the dip as doing is, rather than think of it as a nice U, think of it as a V. So get into this stance and get used to beginning with turning your legs either way. So you're literally going from a stance facing this way to a stance facing this way. It's very simple, okay? The next thing you want to do is learn to do it with your hands. So you're doing this motion with your hands. Well, basically what your hands are doing to begin with are they're going from above this knee, down, and above this knee, okay? So here, you're above this knee, you're down into squat, and above this knee again. Now what this is encouraging is for the motion to come from above this knee, go down, and then come above, importantly come above this knee, because this is the knee you're going to jump off of, and this is the knee you want to get all the height off of. So you then what you do is you go from moving it from being this motion, and you actually attach, you keep your arms doing the same thing, but you attach your head to your upper body here. So the goal is to be from here, down, same motion with the hands and the legs, and coming up above this knee. Now what I see a lot of people doing is doing this, and they're leaning over here. They're doing this, and it's actually this motion as opposed to a dip. So they're just doing this, and then they'll reach out here, because a B kick I find tends to teach you to reach out this way. So they get to here, and then they jump. And immediately what happens then is, because your foot's here, your chest is here, and you're extending this leg, all the power of the move goes woof this way. So essentially you're travelling forwards. What you want to do instead is keep this chest over your knee, so the point where your leg expands is sending you up and you're getting height. But what you want to think of is, you don't want to just take off here and then spin. It's a traditional way of doing it in wushu, because it looks a lot more disciplined, I suppose, and a lot neater, because you're doing a B kick first and then you're twisting. But for learning in particular, it's a bit more difficult. So imagine that you're coming down onto a bouncy ball doing a V. So you're coming down here, and as you come over this knee, you don't want to just go up with your body. You want to actually torque up with this elbow. And if you watch any videos of anyone else doing it, in particular Annie's, who's fantastic, and I'll give some examples in this video. They do this. So imagine I've just done the dip and I'm here. I'm ready to take off. I've just done this dip. So I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. So you imagine that your chest is coming away from the floor and your back is going into the sky. And as this happens, you torque this elbow up. So one way to think of it is you come down, down, over this knee, explode up, and you can look at your elbow and torque round. Now the idea is to sort of do this in the air. So you open on this takeoff, like this, and then you can wrap and get a lot of power. Now why this is advantageous is because if you're doing a BTwist, you take off here, getting your height and then spinning, if you're getting the height from the jump and then spinning, you're essentially falling and trying to do 360 and landing. Whereas with this method, you're taking off here, and you've essentially already done 180, so that the rest of the move going up and down, you can just fall out of it, and it makes it very, very simple. And that's probably one of the key things of this move is making sure that one, you talk up and away from the floor. I see a lot of people get to here, look at the floor and twist down like this whilst jumping, and you lose a lot of height twisting the floor. You might land it, but it's very low. One way that I can encourage you to jump over your leg, like there's been a lot of discussion about blocking with a BTwist, and people saying, look, with BTwist you don't block. I'd say it's partially true, but to encourage you to jump at the point where your chest is over your knee and get your height, it helps to try and imagine that your foot is staying out in front of you at all times. So the point where you actually take off is with your foot in front of you, because if you don't encourage this, your chest will go in front of it and you'll take off and lose height. The next point to mention would be to ensure that your wind up, when you're doing your wind up, you take some big enough steps into it. I see a lot of people do a little twirly twist into it, keep their legs very close together, and then because the legs are so close together, their body has not got enough chance to gain momentum. So the time they gain momentum, they're in front of their leg. I've got tight jeans on, so hopefully I'll be able to give you a good example. But anyway, so what you want to make sure is you do is you step forwards, big step, you chuck it behind you, you hop and plant this foot behind you. So you've got quite a big step here, so that then when I dip, I go down into this V, down below this knee, and then up again. This travel of motion, like this speed coming this way, is coming up at the point when I've dipped, is coming up above this knee, so I can come up. If you're struggling with the wind up, stop it completely and go back to what I said earlier, where you're going from this stance, you're going from this stance, hopping, staying in this stance, and then going for it, because that will help you a lot more, and you'll find it's a lot more beneficial. If any of you got any more questions, then post on this thread that I'm about to post and I'll answer it for you. But these are some key tips that I picked up through teaching people BTwist, and I'm hoping to pass it on.